This is TWiT.
So you were wondering, I know, how the meta ban of news in Canada has fared, right?
Oh, poor Canada.
According to Reuters, the Canada news ban has failed to dent Facebook usage.
At all. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. Daily active users of Facebook and time spent on the app in Canada unchanged since they started blocking news start of August. Two different analytics firms. SimilarWeb says unchanged. Data.ai said its data was not showing any meaningful change to the usage. Here is the graph, and it's nothing. There's where they block news links. It's the same.
It was 3% before, and who cares?
Meta did not comment on this, but they're probably secretly going.
They're secretly clapping.
See,
we told you. We know what's new.
We told you it wouldn't affect us.
I think Meta will. I think I predict. I don't predict anything because I'm not a futurist. I predict, however, that Meta will end up getting rid of news almost the world around.
It's too much trouble. There's no point. And if it doesn't affect your usage, because people don't go to Facebook for news. I know that.
We thought so.
We thought that they got.
Well, they say they start Facebook for news. By the way, number one, there's nothing stopping a news organization from putting actual information on Facebook.
So there can still be news there. Yes.
And number two, for all this, oh my God, they're cutting off news. Well, every news organization has paywalls, so they're not exactly opening it up to the world either.
All right.
It also matters where you're talking about, though, because there are places like where I'm from the Philippines, and this is the place where Facebook is the most powerful thing ever. And people share news, read news. They do everything on Facebook over there.
And Benito, not just Facebook, but WhatsApp.
It's the internet.
The other meta.
Oh, yeah. Facebook is the internet for some people.
Yeah, in the Philippines, Facebook's the internet.
Yeah.
Benito, what do you think of Rappler?
Rappler's great. Yeah.
What's Rappler?
Rappler is Maria Ressa, Nobel Prize winning journalist. An enemy of Duterte.
Oh, but now is she okay? Did she go to jail?
No. Duterte's not the president anymore. We got a new president now.
Oh, you got rid of Duterte. See?
But we have an it's a Marcos now, again.
Oh, another Marcos.
Yeah, so we're kind of doing that again.
Greatest hits.
What? So this is a question I ask about the U.S. too. What's wrong with the electorate that they keep electing corrupt leaders?
The slavery-based system of states and...
in the U.S., it's the Electoral College.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is. Because the Senate wouldn't look like the way it does, and the presidency wouldn't look like the way it does if it had not been for those rules and that structure.
What is it in the Philippines, Benito, do you think? Benito grew up in the Philippines.
What do you mean? That
why does Duterte
How does Duterte get elected?
Well, I mean, in the Philippines, there's a whole lot of issues. I mean, the biggest issue is the colonial mentality. We've been colonized since for the last 1,000 years. So
colonialism, it really leaves scars, does it not? Much like slavery leaves scars.
That is really the root of all of the problems.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's the original sin. Thank you, imperialist nations. Job well done. The Philippines was a U.S. colony until most recently, right? But before that, it was Spain.
Yeah, Americans were the last, and then it was Japanese before them, and then it was Spain before them.
Right.
Oh, I didn't know that part. Spain?
That's why I have my Spain. That's why my name is Spanish, yo.
Did not know that. Huh.
Benito?
Yep. Benito Gonzalez. That's my that's a Spanish name.
That's as Spanish as you can get.
Yeah, I know that, but I had other thoughts.
And Filipinos have a lot more in common with Latinos than they do other Southeast Asians because of that.
I had other thoughts on your name that I want
to when you're Americans, where are you from? Culturally, what connections do you feel here?
Okay, well, this is a very loaded question for me personally.
We should say you moved here as an adult.
Yeah, I moved here as an adult, but I was born as an American citizen because my parents were nationalized Americans. But they moved back to the Philippines before I was born. So I'm an actual American that was born in the Philippines to Filipino parents. So
what?
So my identity crisis is a little different.
I had no chance in understanding it.
Yeah, so my identity crisis here is a little crazy.
I want to recommend a really fantastic book called How to Hide an Empire. I don't know. Have you read this, Jeff? You seem like you've read every book ever.
No.
A History of the Greater United States. This is... we don't really admit that we were an imperialist, and somewhat still are an imperialist nation, and it talks about a history of our overseas possessions, including the Philippines.
We still have Puerto Rico. That's still a colony.
Yeah, as an example, when Pearl Harbor was hit, the Japanese also bombed the Philippines significantly. Huge damage. Many more lives lost. But we didn't talk about that. Even both Hawaii and the Philippines were U.S. territories at the time. But because Hawaii, for some reason, we decided Hawaii is okay, but the Philippines, we shouldn't talk. It's a fascinating, eye-opening book. Highly recommended. By Daniel.
It's a great title too. It's because America
hide an empire.
did have a hidden empire.
Yeah, the cover kind of says it all. You've got what he calls is the logo map of the U.S., right, which is the one we're all familiar with.
Right.
And then, but if you look at the territories like Alaska, Puerto Rico, Guam, all the territories, they're really as much of the landmass as those territories. It's really fascinating. I'd be interested in what you thought of it, Benito, actually.
That's really interesting. I would like to read that.
Yeah.
But to answer Jeff's question real quick, like how I feel about Americans, I do feel both. I feel like an American and a Filipino. Like when I'm in the Philippines, I have to sort of defend Americans, and when I'm here, I have to defend Filipinos.
You suck.
Yeah.
That sucks. You have to defend people everywhere you go.
Wow.
What about? I'm curious because you have a Latino name, a Spanish name. And there's Asian connections as too. What assumptions do ignorant Americans make when they meet you and start to hear your history?
I can answer that for you. He's here in California. I assume he had, an Asian and Spanish parents. Hence the name, hence how he looks. There's the ignorant American answer right there. That's exactly my thought about you, Mr. Benito. I didn't know until later finding out that you were from the Philippines.
You thought what? He was...
Well, no, it's just the fact that his last name is Gonzalez. And it's like, well, we're in freaking California. It's Spanish here.
Right.
So
right.
that's all it just made sense to me. Oh, okay, he's probably got a Spanish parent and an Asian parent.
Well, that's probably more of a function of you not knowing enough Filipino people, because all the Filipinos
that
have.
too.
Yeah.
That too.
Except for Victor.
Yes.
I mean, Victor Bogna, that's a Filipino name. See, Victor's name has a
Victor's one of our great
name.
editors.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Can't say I've met a lot of Filipino people in my life.
Just hang out here. We got a lot.
Actually, and probably more than you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. More than you know.
Hey, I know you're super busy, so I won't keep you long, but I wanted to tell you about a show here on the TWiT network called Tech News Weekly. You are a busy person, and during your week, you may want to learn about all the tech news that's fit to, say, not print, here on TWiT. It's Tech News Weekly. Me, Micah Sargent, my co-host, Jason Howell. We talk to and about the people making and breaking the tech news, and we love the opportunity to get to share those stories with you and let the people who wrote them or broke them share them as well. So I hope you check it out every Thursday right here on TWiT.